What's up, fragrant world? Welcome back to another Stay Fresh production. And we got a special list for you today. We're talking about my top 10 most unique fragrances in my collection. Now, these are just fragrances that I own in full bottle form. I have a myriad of samples I could have thrown in here, but wanted to stick to bottles. And these fragrances are, at least in my experience and my journey thus far, I have not really smelled anything that smells just like them. And I tried to stay away from fragrances that are often cloned, even if before they were cloned they had, a stronghold on their DNA. But nowadays, fragrances like Silver Mountain Water, which I think when it came out, nothing really smelled like it. But now you have a bunch of fragrances that do smell very close to it. Same can go for a Ventus that was unique at one point, but not anymore. You get the idea. Seems like Creed is the common denominator there. But we're talking about scents that have not really been cloned, and at least in my experience and what I can find in terms of research, nothing really smells like these fragrances. Now, I did not rank them in order from least unique to most unique because I can't compare them to each other in the form of uniqueness, because they're all unique. They are literally nothing alike. So I instead decided to rank them based on how much I enjoy wearing them. And simple as that. So these are all very, very unique scents. They might have a flanker or two, or they might be a flanker of a fragrance that carried the original DNA. But in that case, I decided to keep them here because they're not a clone or anything like that. You get the idea. Let's jump into it. Number 10, this is a fragrance that I'm pretty sure at least 99% of you have never heard of. And I gotta say, I haven't even really worn this fragrance. This was a gift from another reviewer. His name is Augie. And he has a channel, I think it's called Your 2 Cents. I could have that wrong. I'll put it on the screen if it's wrong. But Augie, thank you for sending this over. And he sent it because he said, he's like, I don't know how to wear this. I don't know where to wear it, when to wear it. It's just so different. And I said, send it over. And he also sent it over for another reason, which I'll explain in a second. But it's from the house. It's called Chatillon Lux or Chatillon Lux. I don't know if it's meant to be pronounced French. They're based out of St. Louis, Missouri, if I'm not mistaken. And this is called Nefertiti. Now, I don't know all of the lore behind Nefertiti, but what this is based on, this fragrance is based on a music composition by Wayne Shorter, famously performed by the Miles Davis Quintet when Wayne Shorter was playing with Miles Davis back in the 1960s. Wayne Shorter wrote a tune called Nefertiti. Miles loved the tune so much that he named an album called Nefertiti. They just focused it around the song Nefertiti. Really interesting album, kind of monumental in the realm of jazz at that time, and still to this day, nothing sounds like it and nothing smells like this. It's so strange. I said, Augie, send it over, I'll find a way to wear it. And now I'm like, man, it's not bad, it's just so different. A lot of immortelle in this fragrance. This is very immortelle heavy, so it has a very heavy curry-like smell. It's oof. I've never smelled immortelle so concentrated in a fragrance than I've smelled in this one. There's also some other unusual notes in here. You have orchid leaf, there is cannabis in here, there's also some oud in there, maybe some musk. It's sweet from the honey, which saves it from being too savory, and there's a smokiness to it. It's very interesting. I gotta really give it a wearing on, like a full wearing, like 2 solid sprays just at home to start with. It's so strange, but really unique stuff. If you're looking for something super different, check out Nefertiti. If you like immortelle, then this is your bag. Nefertiti from Chatillon Lux, Chatillon Lux. I don't know how to say it, I apologize, but yeah. Up next, from the house of Oriza Legrand. I'm not even gonna try to say that right, but it's a French house, very old house, niche perfumery, and they have a scent that was rebottled in the form I'm going to show you here. It's called Malaga Santa. This is a special edition that was made for Equación Natural, which is a fragrance store based out of Malaga, Spain. But originally, this is a fragrance called Rêve, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's how you say it. And this is an incense-based fragrance, incense and resins. You got benzoin in here, you have some aldehydes, there's pine, there's tonka bean and leather and gaiac wood. It's a beautiful scent. It's very, very authentic in terms of incense. It's meant to smell kind of like Easter in a way. If you were to go to Malaga, Spain, or any region that is, you know, heavy with the Catholic faith, and incense is burning everywhere, this is gonna remind you of that if you know that scent. Very unique stuff. Nothing really smells like this in terms of incense and resin-based fragrances. And again, super authentic, very high quality, and just a very like calming scent if you like incense. If you don't like incense, you will not like this. But if you do, once again, this is your bag. So that is Malaga Santa, also known as Rêve. Okay, coming in at number 8. This one could have been higher on the list. I do really enjoy wearing it, but it's so different in some ways that I have to really be in the mood and I have to be going to the right place to pull this off. From the house of Jovoy, this is Incident Diplomatique. I really enjoy this scent. It's so classy. It's so luxurious. It's very bold. Vetiver, patchouli. There's a booziness to it, but technically no booze. Mandarin orange is in here, nutmeg. It's very mature. It's very rich. Not really that sweet, but not completely devoid of sweetness. It's not spicy, it's very smooth, it's earthy, it's hard to describe. You gotta smell it for yourself. It's kind of a love or hate it, I think. Definitely a little polarizing, but a beautiful scent if you can appreciate heavy, earthy fragrances. But this has such an elegant touch to it. So that's Incident Diplomatique. Here at number 7, from the house of Bottega Veneta. Man, you already know. This is the only one I own from the house, so yeah. This is Homme Extreme. Discontinued, I believe. Kind of hard to find, at least for a good price. A lot of people tend to like the original. This is a flanker to the original, so the original carries the original DNA, but this takes that DNA, which is unique, and it kind of twists it a little bit. More leather in this, whereas the original, I think, was more earthy. But man, another very rich and bold fragrance, but also kind of subtle and easy to pull off in the office. And if you wear it in a good amount, maybe 2 to 4 sprays max, you'll probably get some decent compliments if you're dressed well. And again, you're gonna smell different. This stuff is very different. So that is Bottega Veneta Homme Extreme. Here at number 6, you might find this a little low on the list, but again, I have to kind of be in the mood for this. I did happen to wear this today. This is my scent of the day, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm glad I decided to reach for it again. From the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur, this is Timbuktu. My little 30 ml bottle. I love this little thing. Man, this is such a unique scent. And I gotta say, this is the fragrance that actually inspired this list. Even though it's not number 1, it's sitting here right at the heart of the list for that reason. It just kind of blossomed out all these other ideas I had for picks in the list. And this is a vetiver based scent, but you have some, I believe, incense in here. There's mango in here. It's green. It's not really sweet, but it's not, again, completely devoid of sweetness. It's like a very unripe mango, like a green mango to it. So it has that bit of a fruity, but it's almost vegetal in that way. It is earthy, it's kind of smoky. Man, nothing smells like this. You got a papyrus note in here, there's some resins. It's so different. Bertrand Duchefort is the perfumer for this and many of the others in the house. This is a fragrance that I featured on my inexpensive niche fragrances list. If you're looking for something that's niche quality and niche in terms of scent profile, nothing smells like this. for a good price, well under $100. Check out Timbuktu, man. So different, so different. Okay, at number 5, some of you might be like, how is this number 5 over all these others I've said? I find this one a lot easier to wear than all the others I've just mentioned. I can wear it any time of the year. I tend to wear it more in the warm weather when I'm dressed elegant, and it's, you know, the daytime. That's when I'll put this on. This is Uomo Acqua from the house of Valentino. There's no aquatic scent that I've smelled that smells just like this, other than it does kind of remind you of maybe the other versions, because this is a flanker of the original Uomo, because it has that iris note in it, but a fresh, almost aquatic iris, but it has a green nature to it with tomato leaf. Very different. It's very different. It's subtle, very gentlemanly, a unique take on a fresh iris note. It makes it super likable, real easy to wear. There's a touch of sweetness to it. It's really pleasant, and again, very unique. That's Uomo Acqua. At number 4, from the house of Parfums, nothing really smells like this. I think he single-handedly created this DNA. And this is technically a flanker to the original. We're talking about Creation E, also known as Enigma. This is the Parfum Cologne version, which is, again, a flanker to the original, which I think is a Parfum concentration. It could be Eau de Parfum, I'm not sure, but it's so different. This is also kind of a love it or hate it scent. Some people just don't vibe with this. It's basically like a boozy Coca-Cola. That's what it smells like, but it's resinous. It's really like, I think there's a benzoin note that is pretty prominent here, but it's, at least in this concentration, the Parfum Cologne, it's made a little bit more transparent and more fresh than the original, which I have not smelled. But from what I do hear, this is the same idea, again, just kind of made a little less dense. And yeah, it's so different. It's super elegant. I really would only wear this when I'm dressed up, but I love this smell so much when I do put it on. I'm always a little weird. It's like, okay, do I want to put it on? It's different. I put it on, I'm like, okay. I remember I do actually really enjoy this. And I feel super elegant when I put it on. And most importantly, I feel very unique when I'm wearing this. So that is Creation E, Parfum Cologne. Okay, this one, you're gonna unsubscribe when you see this pic. Please don't unsubscribe. Just hear me out. This is a new fragrance to my collection. I've been sleeping on this. This came out a couple years ago now, and I really like it. And it smells like nothing that I've really smelled before. I really like this smell. Maybe it's a bit of a guilty pleasure that I'm revealing to you. This is 1 Million Lucky from Paco Rabanne. Okay, nothing smells like this. Plum and hazelnut. And it's fresh. It's so different. It's so pleasant. Every time I put it on, and every time I catch a whiff, I'm just like, man, it smells good. It just smells so delicious. And again, so different, but it's so likable, super likable. Man, I was sleeping on it. I was like, another 1 million, whatever. It doesn't even really smell like 1 million. Like, it's sweet. You know, don't get me wrong. So that it has in common with the original, but it's its own thing. Nothing smells like this. In terms of a gourmand that I've smelled, this is the only one. That's 1 Million Lucky. Here at number 2. Number 2 and number 1 are interchangeable. These could easily have been, you know, either one. I find number 1 just a little bit easier to wear than this one, and a little bit more enjoyable, but this is beautiful. This is Fan Your Flames from Nishane. This was the second fragrance that came to mind when I thought of this list after thinking about Timbuktu. And again, nothing smells like this. And you would think that this mix of notes would not work, but it comes together so beautifully, and it's just so provocative, and it's just something that you just want to smell more of because it's so interesting. It's based around cedar wood, lots of earthy, dry cedar wood, but with a mix of sweet tonka bean. There's quite a bit of rum in here, so it's pretty boozy when you first spray it on. There's a nice earthy oak moss to it that grounds it. And there's a wonderful tobacco note in here. And coconut, that's the curveball, man. Nothing smells like this. This is so unique and I love it, and it's so strong. This is an X-rated parfum, so you gotta watch out. I never go more than 2 sprays with this stuff. Wow, I wore it the other day and I was just in awe of the sillage I was getting. I was like, man, I smell great and nobody smells like this. Unless you're wearing Fan Your Flames, of course, but nobody around where I live wears this stuff. That is Fan Your Flames, man. And here at number 1, I love this fragrance so much for the winter time and even the autumn as well. It's a fragrance that I owned, I got rid of, and then I had to reacquire it because I missed it. And again, it's so unique, you'll find nothing that smells just like this, and it's a classic. I do consider this a masterpiece. I really do. This is gonna be timeless. This is Chergui from Serge Lutens. You've heard me talk about this before. Oh man, another tobacco-based fragrance. It's powdery, quite powdery, so you gotta like powdery fragrances, but it's so warm. It's a warm fragrance, lots of amber. There's a sweet honey in here, a really interesting hay accord, and that is the curveball in this fragrance. But with that tobacco, man, oh, again, elegance, perfectly unisex. Anyone could pull this off. And again, if you're dressed well, then this will really get you some interesting looks. It's beautiful. So I love this stuff. That is Chergui. Okay, so you know what time it is. Time for you to let me know down in the comments, what is your most unique fragrance in your collection that you love wearing? Again, give me your favorite one. Let's talk about it. To those of you who have watched my recent vlog, that was a very new thing for me, and I really appreciate all the feedback I've gotten. You guys have been so nice and generous with all your comments. So my fresh squad, you know who you are. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch that video. It was a lot of fun to put together, also a lot of work. If you did happen to skip it, you're missing out. It's a pretty, clear insight into kind of my daily life, if you ever wondered how that is. And there's some nice little fun twists in there. You can check the video out here. Don't miss it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.